We have lots of data on what the kind of damage output a class can do, or
The kind of damage output, guys. Wait, how much damage did we do again? I mean, it's not even a class at this point, right? Okay, Rogue, 500 million. Pet, 5 trillion. And Hoda Barb, 1 billion. Dispatch. We'll see where it's gonna get. And this has only been discovered in the first 10 days. Yeah, this is the second part of the interview video here with Rod Fergusson on the Xbox podcast. Let's see. Already confirmed that Gauntlet is coming February 13th.
a different internet.
Well, look, the way I look at it is it's better than silence, right? It's good to hear. But I do wonder
been a lot of
how
press.
you and the team think about, okay, is there a there, or is it a small group of, people that are incredibly loud? Like, how do you take all of this input? Because it's like,
I mean, there is a lot of, sentiment around the D4 bad meme and stuff on the internet, and the forums and Reddit in particular have been on fire, definitely, the last days, weeks, month. Like, there's been a lot of negative stuff, so see what he has to say about that feedback from a lot of passionate players as well.
I'm sure it's very hard to make
But
everybody
obviously a lot of it is overblown too.
happy, but to make the best decisions for the game and to tweak it without, creating a new set of people that might feel aggrieved because this changed and they love this thing.
Yeah, it's a mixture of things. Like, you basically have to take quantitative and qualitative, and what I mean by that is, like, we have lots of data on how people play. We have lots of data on what the kind of damage output a class can do, or,
The kind of damage output, guys. Wait, how much damage did we do again? I mean, it's not even a class at this point, right? Okay, Rogue, 500 million. Pet, 5 trillion. And Hoda Barb, 1 billion. Dispatch. We'll see where it's gonna get. And this has only been discovered in the first 10 days.
kills per second kind of thing that we track. And we also do
It seems like they track everything, man. They track exactly how much gold you pick. They track exactly, how many monsters you kill. And this is like shown over and over again when they present like these kinds of stats, right? So they track everything. They just don't really show it to you because this information, you can't see it on the profile of your character or in-game. Like, you can't just like, I don't know, like inspect your profile and see. It would be cool though to have like monsters killed, elites killed, gold collected, playtime in particular. Like, the playtime would be so cool. Like, this one is like 267 hours, for example. I think there's a lot of information that could be on the profile.
Surveys, and we also do focus groups and roundtables, and then we have that sort of qualitative, which is like, how does it feel to us? How does it feel based on the social media response or the sentiment amongst the players? And then you kind of have to mix all that together and look at it and kind of work through what's the right decision. And then ultimately, it was something we learned a lot, honestly, going from preseason to season one, is that we started in a very, when you're in development, up to that point, all the balancing we were doing was during development. We were just trying to make the most balanced game we could.
Yeah, the most balanced game. Yeah, it's difficult, man. Like, with the level of complexity that some of those classes and builds have, especially with, like, for example, a Druid only has 1 weapon, but a Barb has 4 weapons, which is like incredible tough to balance, right? And Barb has definitely been on the receiving end of the stick in terms of nerfs. If you guys remember, it was super crazy overpowered when it launched, and they already nerfed it from what it was in the beta. And then it was nerfed like 5 different times, and then it was the worst class by far. In Season 1, nobody played Barb. And then in Season 2 and Season 3, now with the Hoda changes, the Hoda boink is back, and we'll see what's gonna happen in Season 4, guys. But yeah, class balance is tough.
And so when we had our first real big balance adjustment going into Season 1, we kind of
that was a big balance adjustment. They also like reduced the cooldown, the vulnerable, the crit, everything.
Focused on just the purity of the balance and not necessarily what players were considering to be the most fun thing to do at the time, which is, in a game like Diablo, kind of the most fun thing to do is to kind of feel like you're cheating, or you're slightly overpowered, or you feel like you found a loophole in the rule system or whatever, much like the ball lightning Sorc. Like,
or the Hoda Barbs to some degree.
we know that there's no way that Sorc should be that powerful, but at the end of the day, we decided, people are having a lot of fun, and if people don't want to take advantage of that, they can play another class or another build that they want.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Like let them have fun. Like don't instantly nerf. I would just like to see, you know, like buff the weak classes like Necro. I don't, for example, this patch, Necro got like a nerf to the lucky hit corpse explosion. And Necro was already the worst performing class in Abattoir of Zir. Every other class was like outperforming it by miles. And then they nerfed Necro. And that was like really surprising. Why I would much love to see, instead of any nerfs, like just buff the minion Necro, for example. Like the minions, the pets, also on the Druid. Like there could be so much improvement there. But yeah, in general, I think it's a cool sentiment. Like let them have fun with it, right? It's a game, man. We're supposed to have fun. We don't need like a fun police to instantly, you know, like nerf everything. Like let's just go.
Want to. So it was really sort of learning this idea, and we kind of got down to, I call it the Mary Poppins strategy, which was, you know, the spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down, you know, and so we recognize that, hey, if, you know, for whatever reason we might have to nerf something a little bit, much like
A little bit like ball lightning.
like if, you know, trying to maintain the balance for the leaderboards as an example, that make sure there's enough sugar there, enough fun there, that we're trading, you know, something
That's
for
good.
something potentially even more fun. And I think, you know, we kind of stumbled a little bit going into season 1. We were just, it was all medicine and not enough sugar. And now we're trying to find that balance, and we continue to do that with each season of like, okay, what's the right thing to do for the game in terms of the balance and for the players?
Certainly
and do we have
difficult.
enough sugar there to make sure that our priority is our players having fun, as opposed to, oh, this is a perfectly balanced system? Because at the end of the day, it's kind of, with that much variety of class and skills and loot, you'll never have a perfectly balanced system.
Yeah, it can't be. Barbarian has 4 weapons, Druid has 1 weapon. Like, that's very difficult to balance already on baseline.
So you just want to have a fun balanced system.
I think that's a great way to put it. I'm just trying to think of other Mary Poppins references. The game is super califragilistic. No, definitely not going to be.
Talking about being a chimney sweep or something?
Yeah.
Cool interview.
My mind did go there, and that was a cul-de-sac, to be honest. But I'm glad that you do land on fun, because I mean, this is something that we've been having
We're
fun
gaming,
with
man.
for decades.
Like, if you're not having fun, then what are you doing? Like, you shouldn't play Diablo if you're not enjoying it, right? Like, in Diablo, the way is the goal. Like, you improve, you level up your character, like, you get stronger and stronger, and that's where you should have the fun. And if you don't, then you should not play. And also, if you're constantly getting nerfed, this journey isn't fun. Like, I remember it on launch, man. We were playing the War Cries on our Barb, and then suddenly, without us knowing, the cooldown was like way longer than before. There wasn't even a patch or something. This happened like live as we were playing, that they nerfed the shout cooldowns. If you guys remember, the Bolt Chieftain used to be like 12 seconds or something, and they nerfed it to like 6 seconds. It's crazy. And it's like happened in the middle of the game. So yeah, some of those nerfs were like a little much, man.
As a whole, and so Rod.
But it's good that they learned from this.
I love that someone who's been with us as a fan is now the GM of Diablo, or has been now for a few years. So it's
And he's playing Bob.
feels like things are in good hands, and that you're
Guys, my Hoda charge Bob is level 83. Let's go.
listening, and that's appreciated as a player. So thanks so much for that, and thanks so much for joining us here on the Xbox Podcast.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think, if players haven't jumped in yet, I know some people are not used to a kind of a seasonal rotation on a.
Dude, the concept of a season and starting completely over, like Diablo with the great marketing, Diablo 4 that they had, it appealed to such a massive audience that there was like many people like new to the ARPG genre. That is actually like a super cool thing to see, like many new people that have never like played this type of game before. And like the concept of season to them didn't make any sense. Like, why would I, lose all my characters and start over? Like, I remember there was like so many posts on X and stuff like about this kind of issue, like where people were just completely mad that they can't play the old character in the new season and stuff. It was crazy. So the concept is so new to them, and they just have to get used to it first. But I think it's a great concept, man. Starting fresh, having like a race, or like everybody starting from zero again, like that's so cool to see, man.
in a role-playing game, and so it's kind of a known thing in action role-playing games, and so it takes a little bit. But season 3 is a great time to jump in if you haven't. One of the things is if you've
I think a new season is always the best time to start.
already beaten the story campaign, there's actually an option when you create a character to skip the campaign. And
That's
even
great.
if you haven't,
That's
all
big
you
W.
have to do is play the prologue, which is
Just imagine you'd have to do the campaign every season. That'd be horrible, man. So I think the skip campaign button is a big W for the game. And also the renown that we don't have to do that again, man. Holy.
be an hour, and then you can say skip the rest. I just want to get into the seasonal play.
Yes.
So, and what I like about season 3 for new players is just that idea of getting that construct, that having that person who can help draw fire or can protect you. Like, so if you're a new player and you're like, I don't know if I'm hardcore enough,
Can help draw fire,
or I know enough about Diablo, which you don't. Like everything,
or
you
deal
need to
some
know about
damage
Diablo lore is
in the trillions.
game. But this is a great time to jump in. So I really hope people, come and play season 3 with us. And it's live now, so why not hop in?
Very cool. And how do folks get in touch with, if they have things they'd love to share with you all? What's the best
Okay,
way
where can we give feedback, guys?
to do that? Probably not your personal Twitter account.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you setting me up for like a Twitter? No, there's a number. We have a forums. You can go to.
Dude, yeah, the forums are wild, man. It's a wild place, and there is so much negativity in the forums. I'm always like in awe when I go there, like how people can be so mad about the smallest details. It's crazy.
We have our blog. Like that's one of the things we do all the time is we're always updating our blog with patch notes. We're kind of updating the game as much as it needs to be. So we
feedback
do hot fixes
in the forums,
we
guys.
Fix things on the server.
But be careful out there. It's a hazardous place.
That, pretty regularly, especially at the beginning of a season. And I should really call out our developer updates and our campfires. So one of the things we try to do, and that was another thing we sort of learned going into season 1, is we wanted to be sort of talking more to the players and even in a more casual way, like because we had these developer updates and we felt
it's cool with the campfire chats that they're like taking the Q&A live from the stream and stuff. That's really good.
Like we could only really do them when we had these formal announcements of some big thing, like we're like what we did for.
But then like these announcements they hide in some interviews. Like I think it would be cool if they just post this on the forums. Like I feel like it's a pretty important thing that the Gauntlet here is launching on February 13th, but they posted this interview like a few days ago, but they have not really been like telling people on their social media accounts or anywhere that the Gauntlet is actually launching on February 13th, because a lot of people like they might want to prepare their character or something, right, like keep some items and stuff. So it's good to know the date in advance as soon as possible.
For season 3 we had to do,
so I just would wish for some more communication there, because like you have to see this interview on the Xbox. And a lot of people have missed this. This was actually published like end of January, right? And now we're like sitting in the beginning of February already.
A week or so ago, we did the big, here's the developer update for season 3.
Like I had no idea up until today.
Campfire chats, or just really being have the ability for the developers to talk to the players about what's going on, what are we hearing.
Yeah. Then maybe post this on your social media. I think that would be
some rumor that's flying around.
I remember it whenever they announced the stones as well. They didn't have the stones in the blog post, but they had it sprinkled over like different parts of the internet. Like the Genesis was like on a GameStar interview, and then there was some more mechanics announced in some different interview, and then on some forum there was like or on Reddit or somewhere, or on X somebody was confirming that the pet is scaling with your damage. I think it would be like cooler to also have this like compact in the forum post, in the official forums or in the patch notes, rather than for the player base to go to like 20 different corners of the internet and trying to find all the information
we need to deal with. And so it's really been trying to find additional ways to be able to talk to the players. So I hope people can tune in on like Twitch and YouTube and all that to get to hear what's going on.
Very cool. Thanks a lot, Rod. I'm going to...
Okay, that's it, guys. I'm going to link the interview in the description. We already did a part 1 where they talked about the Gauntlet announcement here. It's going to start in a few days, guys. Next week, February 13th. Not many days left. Be prepared and let me know what build you think will dominate leaderboards in the comments. Take care, my friends. GG. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.